Hello and welcome to CS&A Client Profile. This morning we are featuring Harmoney Air, a Nashville-based aviation company offering charter services, flight training, and aircraft management. Chapel Smith has been working with Harmoney Air since 2007, offering a broad spectrum of aviation insurance and risk management services. With us this morning is Randy Harmon. He launched the company in 2007 after a successful career with the U.S. Air Force, and of his love for aviation and his desire to be in business, he is very successful in this type of operation. Welcome, Randy.
Thanks, Brent. I'm glad to be here.
What do you attribute your success in this type of business?
A lot of really good people and a lot of real hard work, and that's no surprise to anybody in business, and they're still in business in today's environment. Didn't know very much about managing a flight school, managing a charter company. I did get a lot of leadership opportunities in the Air Force, and immediately after retiring from the Air Force, I actually started a software company up. A little trial by fire there, going through civilian business, but then the passion for aviation, just like you talked about, I like it. I really I'm passionate about transportation and teaching people to fly, and then it evolved into how can we do this and not just make money, but actually make a living and create something better than what we started with. So the whole idea of Harmoney Air came about, and of course one of the first things you got to look at is you got to control your costs. You got to minimize your risk, you have to control your costs, and that determines your bottom line profitability. And so one of the bigger costs, besides aircraft maintenance and acquisition, is insurance. And that's where CS&A came into the picture. I've been hearing about your organization as an independent flight instructor for years, and then was introduced to you as I was putting together the business plan, the business model, and then had to, actually you briefed us at a couple of instructor meetings, I believe, a few times years ago. So you're not a stranger to me by any stretch of the imagination. But after I came into business on my own, I said, okay, let's talk, and how do we need to do this and best? And that's one of the things that I found. You can find insurance companies online. You can direct mail. You send in paperwork, they send you back quote, you send money, and nobody ever talks to one another. To me, I'm really big on relational business. I can call up the phone, I can talk to you, I can talk to Tom, I can talk to Christy, and we get things done, all mediums. You know, and the biggest one is the communication. That's the greatest thing I like about working with CS&A, is the fact that I can communicate with somebody my concerns and my desires. And you've answered a lot of those questions, because I'm not a very good insurance speak person. Every business has its own acronymania, for lack of a better word. I think I probably just made that one up. But the acronyms of insurance are complicated, can be confusing, and you've helped me along the way figure out what this means, what this means, what this means. Should we carry this coverage, should we not? Or should we at least let the client determine whether they want to carry this type of coverage or not? And you can't do that just by filling out a paper application to some unnamed, person on the other end of the phone or the other end of an email. It's really hard to do that unless you can have communication, and face to face or over the phone.
Your business provides some unique challenges, and as much as we're dealing with high-end aircraft, high-profile individuals as far as the net worth in the companies, and at the same time we have a student pilot introduced to a high-end airplane.
Yes.
And when you're dealing with this type of situation, it's one thing to be able to cover the pilot in that area, and another to be able at the same time cover the charter operation side of utilizing the same airplane. So there are some unique issues of risk management to address, that to try to please and cover and the risk management aspects of both sides.
Yeah. Yep. And knowing, the joint exposure, if you will, that's one of the things that's helped me in working with you. Not every commercial pilot is, even though we're flying, the airplanes we fly aren't high net worth compared to the jets and the turboprops out there. We predominantly fly SR-22 Cirruses. It's a great airplane for what we use it for. Mm-hmm. But it still requires a great deal of expertise, specialized training, and the instructors and the charter pilots, they're all instructors, by the way, which makes us fairly unique, have a high degree of training, experience, background coming into the charter company, into the instructor force. I mean, we all have gray hair or thinning hair for the most part, and bring a wealth of experience to the table and continuing training and education along the way, which you guys have seen our syllabus. You know how we train, and so that helps us. It helps you, it helps us, and it ultimately helps the customer.
Yes, it does. Contracts. You involve a number of different contracts within your business?
Yes, we are. We have fairly unique, and maybe not so with other flight school charter operators, but we are 100% leaseback operation. Mm-hmm. In other words, we don't own any aircraft per se. So we have business partners that lease their airplanes to us. And so each contract with each individual, although they have the same basis, they're a little bit unique because certain owners want things done their way, which is understandable. It is their aircraft. And so I can take these nuances of contracts, present them both to legal and to insurance, and they're always resolved expeditiously, and we understand what everybody needs to do to make the contract work, and we've had zero complaints at all since 2007.
Sometimes that's a challenge to meet the needs of the owner, the operator, and the third-party charter customer as well.
Yes, it is. It is, and I've had some of them ask me about insurance issues. And an example: one gentleman, student pilot, and this is an example of CS&A's flexibility. He was a student pilot, bought a high-end Cirrus aircraft as a student pilot. So to keep his insurance premiums down, we said, okay. We agreed that he would not train in that airplane until after he received his pilot's license in one of our other rental fleet airplanes. And so, that was a question we asked CS&A. They said, oh yeah, absolutely, and wrote the policy, and we got it in writing. He signed the contract for that, and everybody's happy. Mm-hmm. It works.
Sometimes setting up transition pilot programs that are unique like that, and presenting them to the underwriter so that the underwriter can find it to be a successful risk and meet the needs of your client and your customers is can be a challenge.
Yes, it is.
You run a very safe operation. What do you attribute that to?
Again, we have some experienced aviators. I believe our lowest time instructor has around 800 hours, and we have 10 of them. Mm-hmm. 10 other instructors, other than myself. I still teach. I'm very active in teaching. We have monthly safety meetings. We train like we fly. And that's an old Air Force carryover. And we always err on the side of caution. We have our operations manual, of course, for the charter operations, and an operation specification is outlined that we agreed to with the FAA. But I learned a long time ago, if one of our pilots felt like something was unsafe to do, then nobody ever will make that pilot do something. Mm-hmm. There's no mission they have to fulfill. If they feel that something is not right or unsafe, then that flight is scrubbed, and we work on an alternative. Mm-hmm. So I never question a pilot judgment when it comes to a matter of erring on the side of safety.
Good.